I'm talking with Claude Sauter, GM of this beautiful Slate Hotel here in North Phuket, in beautiful Thailand, of course. Now, Claude, the Slate is a particularly special hotel, not just because of its location, but because of its design. I mean, I've been staggered at the architecture and the design of this place, like being punted across a lake to go to the restaurant within the resort, stuff like that. Tell me, how is the guest reaction to these kind of special features of the Slate?
Well, the Slate has a story to tell. You know, it's a hotel that's been built 40 years ago. It went through different life until about 20 years ago, when the owner decided to completely renovate that hotel and wanted to have that cultural heritage about the mining, industry. Phuket has a lot of mining before we have tourism.
Tin mining,
yeah.
It was
really,
which is a story in itself, of course.
Yes, it used to be called the black gold, right? So it was really, before tourism. So the owner wanted to recreate something like this. So they talked to this famous American architect, designer, Bill Bensley, and he came out with this idea of industrial design.
Yes.
But the owner say, okay, I have few things that I want you to keep. I want that, people, when they come to my hotel, they still feel they are in Thailand. They still feel that it's a resort, so you have to keep all the landscape.
Yes.
Because it was not an easy exercise. You cannot just transform a hotel, especially in a tropical destination like Phuket, into something a bit futuristic and design and industrial feel. So it was a big risk. And over 20 years ago, that was not the kind of hotel you would see in Phuket. But it happens that they made the right decision, because this is how we also differentiate ourselves from other resorts, by its design, by, it's not, and at the end, it's not only the design, it's also the experience.
Indeed.
We are offering all the different restaurants we have, and all that. It was very sustainable for the time.
Yep.
Actually, the word sustainability probably, did not exist back then. But all the material they use to, we decorate the rooms.
Yep.
And all that. It's a lot of metal scrap that they get back from, from different places, and we use it. A lot of wood that were in those mines that were pulled out, and then reuse it to make, tables, to make
features in the
rooms,
yeah.
and all that. So in a way, they were very advanced, for the time.
Well, I think it works. And of course, not only is it the design, but you've got to deliver the experience as well. And I think obviously the staff and everything else that goes with it, the spa and the gym and all the ancillary activities, it all fits together very nicely. I know a lot of these resorts like to use the word sanctuary, because you're closed off from the noise and the hustle from outside, and I think that's certainly a success in this case. But beyond the resort, the location here in North Phuket is something special. We discussed it earlier about it being a destination within a destination. How are you leveraging that for North Phuket?
Yeah, it's we're just 5-7 minutes from Phuket International Airport. We're very lucky because the plane are not flying over the hotel, so
yes.
you don't hear the noise of the plane. But we had that conversation with some event planner in Bangkok, and they were all talking about how Phuket has developed over the years, and the traffic, and it's very difficult to move groups, those incentive groups from one place to another. So, and one of the event planners say, why don't you look at the north of this island, and you have 15, 20 nice resort, some international hotel, but also independent property, and try to promote that destination within, as you say, the destinations. We have great golf course, we have marinas, we have again, the airport is very close, we have national park very nearby. So this is how it started basically, and then we had our first meetings with different hotels in the area and say, okay, let's start promoting the destinations initially, for the incentive, MICE market, but also to the leisure market.
Sure. Well, I've been talking about the leisure market. Travellers from Australia are very familiar with Phuket and many of the similar destinations in Thailand. And I guess when people talk about or think about Phuket, they have a particular picture in mind, you know, a bit of a boisterous party atmosphere, flashing lights and all the stuff that goes with it. But up here in North Phuket, it's quite different, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, and it's good to have, you know, some things. I mean, I believe Phuket can offer, you know, so much, you know, diversity in terms of, depends what you want. You know, you want a nightlife and party and these,
Sure.
you know, you want to be more layout, more, you know, more relaxed. Then you have, you know, the north of the island, you know, the east coast will be more for, you know, if you want to go on excursions, visit the islands and all that. So, you know, the north of Phuket, because of this unspoiled environment, you know, very few developments, surrounded by national parks. So with all the national park, you can't build anything. So we are protected in a way of future, you know, big development like we have seen in other parts of the island.
Sure, yeah.
So it's this corner of the island, is the shore, this northern shore of Phuket, which we like to promote as a destination for people who want to see something different, and at the same time they still have access to the rest of the island. You know, it's not like we are, you know, in the middle of nowhere. But for people who want something more laid back, more relaxed, you know, a lot of space and all that, then the north of the island is definitely a great.
Right.
Great
Now, we
part of
talked
Phuket.
about, you mentioned earlier on that you've enjoyed being an independent hotel away from the big chains that we used to, like the Melia and the Accor and the Marriotts and all those ones. How has that hurt you, or has that presented obstacles for your marketing? I know you mentioned before that you're aligned with Luxury Escapes, for example. Does that kind of marketing help you as well?
Yeah, I mean, of course, Phuket, you know, Phuket is a very competitive, you know, environment.
Sure.
And especially, you know, all the big chains are here, the international chain. I think, you know, even if you just take Marriott, amongst all the brand they have, I think they have something like 16 hotels in Phuket. So, of course, you know, it's highly competitive. But that's why for us, being an independent hotel with a very specific, you know, design focusing on guest experience and all that, that's how we can differentiate ourselves and attract, you know, guests to come and stay with us rather than easily book, you know, through a chain. And then, of course, we partner with company like Luxury Escape, you know, which is obviously very strong for the Australian market. But we do have a lot of, actually, Australian market is probably in the top 3 in terms of people booking direct with us. And
Yes.
a lot of repeaters as well, a lot of guests coming back year after year because of this, you know, of course, convenience of flights from Australia into Phuket, lots of different, you know, direct flight. Of course, Phuket been very popular with the Australian market, and I think they also like this. You know, not all Australians like to go and party in Patong and all those places. You also have a lot of Australians who like more laid back, more relaxed.
Sure.
You know, especially families
yep.
or couple who just want to come and really relax, enjoy, you know, good food, good service,
Which you
and
can
good
certainly
service.
do here at the Slate.
We have, you know, eight restaurants and bars, so that's the choice.
Or if you
People-
want, we've got on the doorstep, we've got scuba diving and kite surfing, and
Everything, yeah.
you know, you can of course hire a moped too if you.
And Nayang Beach is just you know, few steps away, and it's a beautiful unspoiled beach, and you still have a lot of, you know, local restaurants, and you know, you can eat the feet in the sand, which, you know, in many parts of Phuket you can't do that because it's just been, you know, a bit overbuilt. So you still have this local feel here on the north.
Almost old Thailand in a way.
Yeah, a bit Thailand. When I, you know, first arrived 30 years ago in
Yeah.
Phuket, it was quite like this everywhere. But then, of course, development is, you know, and it's not some things that, you know, we don't like. You know, development is good. It's always some things that, you know, help. But it's good to have different things on the island that cater to different people.
And you need to be careful with that development too. And Claude, I thank you so much for the opportunity to visit your
pleasure,
beautiful hotel.
Thank you.
And I hope, of course, you'll be coming back again sometime.
Let me know.
And
My
I
pleasure.
wish you all the luck with
Thank
this
you.
North Phuket promotion.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you for your time, sir.
All right. Thank you.